What's good, y'all? Welcome to my review for this week's episode, or I should say, the final episode of Sword Art Online Alternate GGO. And man, this episode was phenomenal. I mean, the art and animation this episode was, ooh, that art and animation was amazing in this episode. Like, oh man. But yeah. So let us begin. So we start off with Pito, where we left off last week with Pito and LLENN finally facing off. They started those guys just having a challenge, and ask, why does it matter? She goes on about, I will survive this battle royal, and, die in real life, blah blah. You guys already know that. And she's like, why does it matter if you die in game? And she's like, oh, it's like seriously risking my life. And Chelsea's like, you probably wouldn't understand if I told you. And then I don't know in this part if, they were low-key, if it was just, LLENN, just, trying to, rile up Pito, or this was low-key, the Arthur of the spin-off, low-key taking pot shots at Reki Kawahara, and how we've seen how SAO does play out as an actual game, not as it was in the anime. Because she's like, oh, I'm really glad I didn't play that legendarily awful game. And then, Pito just goes, and she, charges at her. But I don't know, because let's face it, in his many videos he's done on Sword Art Online, I feel like a lot of them are kind of unnecessary, just because I'm like, dude, why you keep talking about SEO? No, we know you hate the show. Why do you keep talking about it and keep watching all of her, why'd you bother watching the movie? Why'd you bother watching season 2? Blah, 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 blah. So we made a whole video, a 30-minute long video on how SAO would be a terrible game as well. So I don't know if that was just them taking pot shots at the actual game of Sword Art, or that was just Pito, or I should say LLENN, just trying to rile up Pito. Anyway, so Pito comes charging at her about to turn on the lightsaber, but LLENN is like, oh man, this is the part where the art animation was just made out. She too comes charging at Pito, and she's as we know, she's super fast. She like the Flash, so she comes right up to her, pulls out her knife, and I got to see the sound effects on how this whole play worked. Spot on. Major props to the audio directors and audio management guys. Those guys did really damn good with this episode with the sound effects and everything. So she pulls out her knife and then hits her in the leg, but I think her thigh area, and then jumps up and slices her neck. It doesn't end up killing her, but she manages to cut in, she says she has 20% of her life, and so they keep going until, and then she picks up, or I should say actually, she picks up LLENN's gun, Pito, and LLENN's gun starts talking again. Once again, the show doesn't explain how the fuck this is even possible. I don't know if LLENN is just slowly going insane, or there's an actual reason behind this, but the show never explains why LLENN's gun is suddenly talking. And it's not a major thing, but it's kind of a little flaw I guess I have with the series is if you're going to tell us oh hey, LLENN's gun can silently talk. Why? Oh, you don't bother explaining. Okay, if we're gonna if this isn't the aliens in Inuyashiki, which is kind of just something to move that really just gives us a plot, because they don't really have a major point. They just give them the powers and they leave. We don't need to know about their origins or anything. This isn't Prometheus. But when you put this in there, you kind of have to explain it, but they don't. So I'm kind of confused and kind of it's kind of almost, I almost want to call it a plot hole, but it's kind of a what the fuck, a moment where okay, y'all not gonna explain how the fuck LLENN's gun is talking. But whatever, she really just says, don't worry, and I got your back. And we find out that, and she and when she's pointing her LLENN's gun, Pito's pointing LLENN's gun at her, we see that the bullet lines don't appear because I think the barrel is fucked up to where when she actually tries to pull the trigger, the gun blows up in her face, which LLENN, and she takes the opportunity to get back on her, but LLENN or Pito manages to dodge them and throw her off her, and then she manages to grab LLENN, and then LLENN throws her knife at her, but she ends up catching it, and she's like, oh, were you giving this to me, or do you want me to kill you with it? And she's like, neither, and so she just throws the gun away, or the knife away. She then calls up M, which she has Fuka, which then he he tells hey M, can I borrow your gun? And he's like, sure. Passes it to her, and then we hear 2 shots. Now, a lot of us probably thought, oh no, shit, she's gonna fire at Fuka. But instead, she actually shot at M because she knew about him becoming a traitor, about their plan that M had for LLENN to have Pito be the last person to survive to finally take down Pito, LLENN to take down Pito so that she doesn't end up killing herself IRL. So then she ends up like shooting him twice, and then like right before she puts a foul blow and puts a bullet between his eyes, she asks him like any final words, and he says, "I love you," and she says, "I know." Which okay, were they low key quoting Empire Strikes Back? Because we know the classic line Empire, where Leia says, "I love you," and he says, "I know." Were they low key just like quoting Empire, or is this all just a massive coincidence? Anyway, so after that, so Fuka, then she like just has her attention on M or Len, I should say, and then she's like oh yeah, I'm about to kill you, blah blah blah. And actually, while she's like going on, she notices that Fuka is actually using her little hair. What do we do? I don't know what those things are called, but to keep her hair in place in a bun, she uses that since it's an actual knife. She uses it to cut off her this little bandage she had around her arms with makeshift handcuffs, I guess you could say, and takes off the tape off of her mouth, and she ends up cutting off Len's hands. Okay, and then I think she kicks her straight to Pito, and then Len starts eating Pito like a ghoul. From Tokyo Ghoul, she's over there biting on her neck, she's and I'm like, yo, why y'all suddenly turn to TG up in here? Legit, she's eating her like a ghoul. I wonder if that actually has whatever. Anyway, so after after she says, hey, don't you remember your promise about if I beat you, we end up meeting IRL? She's like, no, and so then she puts a finishing blow on Pito, and so after that, we think that Len actually survived. She went, but after that, Fuka and Len end up getting a barrage of bullets and by this group of guys that look like cyborgs. I think that's actually that military squad we saw. Around the beginning of the series, the team that's actually guys that are actually from the military that plays game is kind of training. I think it might be those guys, or just some other team that just got lucky, but they end up winning and so the rest of the episode is pretty much M meeting with Pito, M meeting with Len and Fuka, and they kind of in their IRL cells, and then to where they finally meet up with Pito. And so we find out a little bit more about M, where we see that actually M was actually stalking Pito when he first saw him. He used to actually be a fat fuck. Because you guys, if you saw my reviews when we first saw M IRL, you guys thought from how he was crying, or earlier on the series, I thought he was just a fat nerd living in his mother's basement that had no life, But it looks like he actually was that at one point, but then, but we thought maybe he hit the gym. We actually find out that Pito knew that M was stalking her from the beginning. And so she ends up blackmailing him and saying if you call the cops about this, I'm going to tell the cops about you stalking me, that I got evidence to back that up. So she ends up becoming his manservant, and Len and M being oh, it was the greatest honor a man could have. This man is a straight up masochist. Goddamn, this man loved all the weird shit Pito did to him. Yeah, and we find, and then so and Len, they're Fuka, what the fuck, what the fuck. And so, and then we see pictures, and then so they eventually do make it up to this club area. I think it's a club they were at, where actually the idol that we know that Len is a big fan of, we meet her. We actually see she finally meets her at a concert. It's a little private thing at this club, and so yeah, the plays whoever voices the idol. She has a pretty good singing voice. I don't know if it's an actual idol that actually voices this idol, or just some other, another Japanese voice that just knows how to sing. Whatever the case may be, the song was nice. So yeah. After that, we then go backstage where we find out who Len is. Now, originally we get this woman. And he said as M said, she was actually the owner of this club. This club. But we actually find out, and I actually predict this. I called this when we saw this episode. I was like, "Watch, it's the idol," and we find out that actually Pito is the idol. Keep in mind, this idol almost kind of looks. Would she actually qualify as a lolly? I don't know. She's kind of smallish, where she could probably qualify as one, but I don't really know. Which kind of makes it even more creepier that M was stalking her, because like I said, the man was a fat dude, and he was stalking this idol that low key looks kind of like a lolly. So this is like some Perfect Blue shit where, like, you know, if you guys saw Perfect Blue, you know that what's her name had this major stalker that was like that had like a disfigured face and everything. And it almost kind of reminded me of that from how Ed was describing everything as we go down. But like I said, like, you know, and that's the reason he did lose all that weight to become, you know, the handsome individual he is now, was actually just from being his manservant, was actually just being from Pito's manservant. So he just, like, you know, I guess she had him, like, you know, move boxes and, like, you know, clean the place, and he gets just generally lost the weight because of that. And so, at the end of the episode, we then, after you know, LLENN gives away how she found out that LLENN, or that how LLENN found out that Pito was indeed the idol, was from, like, you know, the letter that she sent out from the fan letter that she just sent out to the idol, you know, a few episodes back. And she thought that, you know, even if she didn't see it, Pito probably M probably saw it, so that's how he was able to get her ass and blah 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 and everything else. So yeah. And that's when the episode ends, after they have like a year, like after she kisses him after Pito kisses LLENN on the lips, like, you know, this is some straight up Yuri shit. And so, you know, she saw it, she's like embarrassed, and she's like, you know, oh well, we can't sleep over together. She's like, no, you can't. And we also have a post-credit scene where they're kind of just talking around the episodes about, like, you know, when can I come back again? So yeah, overall, I really love this episode. This is probably one of my personal favorites of the series. Overall, I give this episode a 10 out of 10. Like I said, the art animation, that fight was spectacular. And the little Yuri stuff was also kind of funny to watch as well. And so yeah, overall I would actually give the series as a whole a 9.5 out of 10. It was a damn good spin-off. I really did enjoy it. I did, like I said in my previous review, I do like this more than the original GGO arc in SCF Season 2. But yeah, before that, also, guys, apologies for the delay on this review. Like I said in my Hero Walker review, I went to go see Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom today. If you want my quick thoughts on it, I thought the movie was overall pretty good. Better than I expected, but I wouldn't call it like a masterpiece or anything. My review will probably be up on either Sunday or Monday, because I probably won't film it until probably like Sunday, because I want to get through the Persona 5 review, all of this before Toonami starts, because it's like 9 o'clock right now. So yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like, subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, if you feel like this, just below. As always, come back for more. See you guys next time.